All right, and welcome to a wild and crazy
I
show.
think that was more like
Uh, as you can tell, we have Monte Pasquale, right? Did I pronounce that right? Pasquale? Okay. And
yes.
my, my,
Yes,
my
he says it
partner
quietly.
Mike is
Yes,
there
sure.
with his boy toy in the background. If you could introduce everybody, Mike, we'll be good.
Yeah, we have Daryl, a buddy of mine and a watcher, a fan of Stogie 411. He's in the studio live today, listening in and checking out the show and the setup. I'm glad to have you here, Daryl. Sit back, relax. We had a little rated semi-R earlier, but we'll save that for later. We don't want all the boys getting too excited and our one girl guest in the chat room. But anyways, we have Wes here from Monte Pasquale or Pascal or Pascal or what Wes said, whatever way you want to say it. And we're basically going to go over Wes's line and let everybody who may not know Wes get to know Wes a little bit. We've been having some fun in the pre-show. So, Wes, appreciate you coming on, buddy. We glad to have you on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me.
Absolutely, man. We're glad. So, listen, why don't we kick it off like we always do, Wes? We put you under the spotlight here and tell people about yourself. Tell us about your company, and we got an hour, so don't feel the rush.
Okay. Our company Monte Pascoal was started in 2006 down in Brazil by my partner Lorenzo Orsi, so in a quick period of time, the Brazilian market, most people don't know, is fairly large. I mean, Brazil's got over 200 million people, so there's quite a few cigar smokers there. And in a short period of time, he's become the #1 brand in Brazil. About 4 years ago, I started actually importing all Brazilian brands to the United States, and then from there, I got to be very friendly with Lorenzo, and about 2.5 years ago, we started to really start planning, to be exclusively distributing Monte Pasquale because Monte Pasquale has a great future ahead of it. 2.5 years ago, we purchased our own tobacco farm down in Brazil. So we're really poised for the future with our company. So I basically dropped everything to partner up with Lorenzo, and we've only really been in the U.S. market for a little over probably a year and a half now. So, but it's been going very well, and we're very pleased with the way things are going, and yeah. So that's basically the story of how I got to work with Monte Pasquale. So we have our group. We have a group actually, which is the Tabacos Marafina group, which is comprised of 4 different companies. So we have one company for the actual agricultural development of the tobacco and the farm. We have another company for worldwide distribution. Then there's Tabacos Marafina, and then the company that I own with Lorenzo is Tabacos Marafina USA. So it's a great group, and I primarily work with Tabacos Marafina USA, but I also do help out with a lot of the other stuff down at the factory and everything.
Now, do you find
Yeah.
with having your own farm and everything now? I know it's easier to get the tobaccos that you're growing, of course, for your cigars. But if you want to branch out, are
Right.
you would you rather have your own farm to branch out, or would you plant different tobacco, or would you actually just go out and buy?
It's we're doing everything on site. That's the idea to verticalize everything. It really helps, especially because in Brazil the tobacco is that's bought on the open market is in U.S. dollars. So it can get very expensive buying tobacco in Brazil with the exchange rates and so on and so forth. So really having your own facility was the next logical step for us, and to our own farm, I mean. And primarily, we're growing Montefina and a new variety of Montefina that we've come up with called Mata Bom Sucesso. Bom Sucesso is the name of our new facility down in Brazil. And translated into English, that means good fortune. So we've got the Montefina, the Mata Bom Sucesso, and then we're also growing, we got a whole experimental section where we're growing Cuban seed and Sumatra and all kinds of different things. So it's really exciting. I mean, it allows you to play around And in the future, obviously, it allows us to come out with different lines of different varieties and all that. So yeah, I mean, there's no question having your own farm really helps. As far as the Monte Norte is concerned, we are growing some of that, but you know, as far as our current blend, we still purchase that on the open market.
Speaking of the Monte Norte, Wes, why don't you tell the viewers the difference between the Norte and the Fina, so they understand the difference between the two if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, most people, you know, Montefina is, if you've heard of Brazilian tobacco, you've heard of Montefina because that's the most popular variety of Montefina. It gets a little complicated, but there's the Montefina variety, there's the Monte Norte variety. There's also about 4 other varieties of Montefina that are well known down in Brazil. But for the purpose of cigars, Montefina and Monte Norte are the primary tobaccos that are used. And the difference being, the Montefina is what you see on different lines. They're using Montefina. It's known for its aromas. The aromas that come out of a Montefina leaf are incredible. However, it is a very mild tobacco. So when you want to add strength to it, in the case of other companies that have used Montefina, they'll use another tobacco that's got a little bit more strength to it. In our case, there's another tobacco called Monte Norte, and that tobacco in Brazil has a lot more strength than the Montefina. So when we create our cigars are more of a medium-bodied cigar, but to make it a medium body, we add the Monte Norte in the filler. So, and one of the unique things I was explaining to you guys before we went on is that although the Montefina is the primary tobacco, the Monte Norte is in our filler, and what we do is we use a different proportion of Monte Norte in each size. So if you don't know that, you might smoke like say you went and smoked a Robusto and then went to smoke the double Corona, you might say that it's got a little bit different flavor profile. However, that's because we have a little bit different proportion of that Monte Norte in our filler, and that was on purpose because my partner has a very Cuban look to our boxes and our presentation. So yeah, if you want to describe our brand in a couple words, we have a very Cuban Brazilian feel to our presentation. So.
And I will say you can taste it when you smoke the different sizes.
Yeah, it's definitely
yeah, you definitely like I said, we were saying in the pre-show, I was telling Wes that I reviewed a few of Wes's cigars about a year ago, I believe, on Mike Stogie's, and I definitely could tell the difference between the Petite Robusto I reviewed, and I forget what the other size. It might have been the Bellicoso. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But you could definitely tell the difference. I am noticing on your site, Wes, and you just talked a little bit about the Cuban influence that you kind of have on there. And I'm looking at your logo. Tell people a little bit about your band and what the significance behind that band. It has that Cuban feel to it, just looking at it. So why don't you tell people a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a neat story. I mean, we also have the flap that goes over the cigars, which is very Cuban too. Basically, our logo, Monte Pascoal, translated into English, is Easter Mountain, and Brazil was discovered in 1500 by a guy named Pedro Cabral. He was basically the Columbus of Brazil, and when he was coming into and he just saw land, he actually saw the first thing he saw was that mountain, which is Monte Pascoal. It means Easter Mountain, because he was coming in right during Easter time. So that's the story behind the actual logo. And then if you look at our logo, we also have a lot of navigational aspects to it. Our flap has the ship that Cabral used. So that's basically the backstory of the actual logo. We also have, if you look, we have a traditional Brazilian Indian woman on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, we've got a lot of European influence because my partner Lorenzo is originally from Italy. So that woman that you see on the right-hand side is a European muse.
Yeah.
And that illustration was done by a famous Brazilian artist back in 2006. So it's really supposed to capture the discovery of Brazil, and that's really we've got a very classic look, and so you can see that in our presentation.
Yep.
And then, like I said, I was telling you guys, Lorenzo had spent quite a bit of time down in Cuba before he actually even started the brand. So there's a lot of that Cuban influence going all the way to having a little bit different blend in each size.
Yeah, you can definitely see it in your packaging. And if you guys want to check it out, go to www.montepascalcigars.com, all one word, and you can see the illustration of what we're discussing right now. I mean, the website really goes into packaging and how the packaging made, the logo, the cigar. So it's very, very informative. Definitely, I would say, as a reviewer reviewing cigars, I tend to see issues when you're trying to get information. Some of these websites just don't have it, but there's a lot there. So
yeah, no, I do the U.S. website myself, and then if you look, if you go to MontePascoalCigars.com, there's also on the left-hand side there's a link to our global website, which is done by our company down in Brazil, which is actually goes in even more depth than the other site, and you can go on there. You can actually see kind of a virtual image of the farm and where everything is, where the curing barn is, and the warehouse and all that stuff. So it's kind of neat. So yeah, there's a link. If you go, it just says global website. You can also click there. There's all kinds of cool stuff, and they've done a lot of stuff down in Brazil too. They're as far as marketing and stuff. We've been in Playboy magazine in Brazil and all kinds of good things. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the logo, the girl on the left, the hair's a little too long, in my opinion, but I'm just saying.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I've heard that before,
yeah. Actually, Mike, her hair's as long as yours.
It may be me. Maybe he they saw a picture of me and said, "Oh, he would look like a good girl on our box." Yeah. Oh my! But yeah, everybody can see that. Everybody can see that picture up on the screen. I have it in the box there for the Monte Pascoal with the two women on it and the mountain. So hopefully they were following along when you were describing it.
Yeah, hopefully. So let's see, Wes. Let's take a question. Matt had a question. I just got to scroll up here a little bit to get
I think he answered that.
Yeah.
Matt was asking, do they tailor the blends to each size, or do you just scale the blend itself?
Yeah, he kind of did.
You tailor the blend for every size, right?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's very planned out from the beginning to kind of give a different variety of smoking experiences with each size. So definitely that was certainly a plan, and you'll notice, like I was saying to you guys, for example, our Belicoso has the highest proportion of that Monte Norte tobacco in it. So if you're looking for something with a little bit more strength, you definitely go for the Belicoso. And then, for example, for beginning smokers or somebody that just wants something a little bit more mild, say like in the morning, with a cup of coffee, our double Corona has the least amount of Monte Norte, so that's a little bit more of a mild smoke, very smooth, but a little bit more mild. So. Yeah, definitely. That's all planned. Especially as we're growing, that was very important to us, and that's one of the reasons why we went that route. Is because until we have the ability to come out with our little line and so on and so forth, this really gives a complete smoking experience. Now to go even into that a little bit further. We are coming out with a new line very shortly, most likely by the end of this year. And that's going to be, this line will be our classic line. And then the new line will be a little bit more for the experienced smoker. It's going to be more full-bodied. But that took a lot of work. There's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on down in Brazil as far as their government.
Yep.
And if you want to get into all the stuff that the FDA is trying to do here with cigars, it's already happened in Brazil.
Wow.
So on my end, I really get a good perspective, and I get, I get really angry with what they're trying to do here because I see what would happen.
Yeah.
Now in Brazil, for example, they, the FDA wants to have cigars regulated here, and they want to have all the sizes and the blends tested by the government, and that's, those are huge fees, and basically what comes out of that is the smaller boutique guys are going to really suffer. I mean, everyone's going to suffer across the board,
Right.
but even more so the smaller companies, and I know right now a lot of cigar smokers, you love trying new stuff. You love
Sure.
trying, it's not all about the bigger brands. There's such a variety, and that's fantastic, I think, for our industry. But for example, down in Brazil, okay, each size that you create in your line has to be registered with the government and has to be tested. Those tests are not even able. The requirements are so strict that they don't even have a company in Brazil that can do the tests. So we have to send our cigars either to Switzerland or Canada to have them tested. And you can imagine the costs involved with that.
Sure.
And then on top of that, you have the registration fees, which are anywhere from, then that depends on the size. So you have anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000 per year.
Wow.
It's not even a one-time registration fee. It's every year you have to register your sizes. So it makes, and this was just about 3 or 4 years ago that this happened. And immediately they went from having about 20 different cigar manufacturers in Brazil to close to, like now there's really only like 5 or 6. And it's because, I mean, can you imagine if you're a small cigar maker, you're not going to be able to pay the registration.
Yeah, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. So, but, and as soon as that started happening, there was a lot of lobbying that was going on, and thank God. I mean, just like say 7 months ago, I think it was December 2011, we were able to pass a law that any cigars that were designated for export only outside of Brazil were not subject to those registration fees.
That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. That was fantastic. So that's what's really allowing us to expand our line. We're coming out with a new line, like I said. And so it's definitely a lot of exciting things coming up, but it's crazy, so you can see what can happen here. So you can, that's why we really need, on the U.S. side, we really need to fight that FDA deal, because good.
Way too much government.
Yeah.
Way too much being governed, But
well, and it's.
I got something, Mike, before we jump into something. He hit on something. I kind of want to grab it while I'm thinking of it. Most of your cigar line, Wes, is Montefina or with some Mata Norte Brazilian. Is there, in the future, is there any other tobaccos that you guys may be looking into to utilize in a cigar blend instead of just the Montefina or the Mata Norte?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what.
Without going into something you probably can't. I'm just,
Oh yeah, well, I can't get into it fully, but certainly, like I said, we're growing a new variety of Montefina called Mata Bom Sucesso, which it takes up a good portion of our farm down in Brazil, and the early testing of that tobacco is just, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's gonna blow you away. So that's that's one thing that's going on. Like I said, we do have experimental areas that we're growing, Cuban seed and Sumatra and even Connecticut. So
cool.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of good things that are going to come out of that, and especially like I said with that new law, it's going to really help us out.
Good.
Well, no, I was just going to say when Wes was mentioning about with Brazil and that if it's tobacco for export, then you don't have to pay the fees. And really, the people that hurts are the people in Brazil if they want to have the cigars, because of the fact it's so expensive for a company to keep the cigars in Brazil. It's a lot cheaper for you just to ship them all out and not even worry about having your brand in the own country that you're putting them in.
No question. Yeah, no question. It's like it's detrimental to their. I mean, on the one hand, they're trying to get more money for the government. On the other hand, what are you thinking? Because that thinking is actually gonna take it out of your country.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of
it is.
It's really what it is.
Right.
Let's see. Let's take a question from the chat room. LOD's got a question for you, Wes. He says, "Where do you see your company cigar portfolio in 5 years?"
You know, we want to remain boutique to the core. You know, we certainly, you know, as far as 5 years down the road, definitely we want to be, you know, expanded a lot more throughout the U.S. Right now, we have our cigars in over 30 states, so things are going well. But you know, for us, you know, and Lorenzo, my partner, is very. We're definitely on the same page with this. Especially in the cigar industry, you have to be very, very careful. And you know, the whole tobacco process takes so long as it is. So you want to take everything really step by step. And for us, our consumers are the most important aspect of our company. So we're always thinking about the consumer of our product when we're making steps. So you know, the quality of our product and you know you know, just overall doing good business is really important to us. So as we grow, we want to make sure that all those things are taken care of. I think, you know, a lot of companies sometimes that will grow too fast. You know, it's inevitable, really. I mean, you're going to have to make sacrifices somewhere. I mean, something is going to suffer as a result of that, and we want to make sure that nothing is suffering as we're growing.
Right.
So in 5 years, I really do see great things, you know, and especially with you know, the expansions that were planned and all the stuff that's happening at our facility. But yeah, I mean, it's all about you guys that are smoking the cigars. So we want to make sure that everything is tight.
Cool.
Good. Yeah, Matt just hit. I was just sitting here. Matt just asked the next question I wanted to ask. So Matt, what's the current price range of your cigars?
We're right in that sweet spot, you know, and definitely, you know, not having to purchase our tobacco on the open market is really helping us growing into the future. So, you know, our price range is anywhere from like the Minuto, the MSRP, a little over $4 to you know, to $8 for, you know, or, you know, $4 to $8 basically is our range. So it's really that sweet spot for consumers. It's not anything too overly, you know, crazy as far as price. It's reasonable, and allows them to try out our cigars and you know, basically just go from there. So $4 to $8, that's the range we're in, and yeah, it's a good spot to be in, I think.
Now I showed the different sizes that you offer right now. Do you see expanding that? Excuse me.
Oh yes, yeah. Basically, like I said, this is our classic line. The expansion is going to be a whole new line of Monte Pascoal, and so we're looking at 5 or 6 new sizes in that line. As far as our classic line here, we are planning on another size, possibly a 6x60, which is in the works. Because you know the 6x60s, you know, I get debates about it, you know, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, some people think it's a fad, you know, or on the other side, some people think it's a trend.
Right, you can't get flavors. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Come on, really?
But yeah, no. So I mean, that's definitely in the works. A 6x60. I think you know, in the next 5 years at least, there's going to be still a good response for the 6x60. So, and I don't know, some areas are funny, like, you know, Texas, that's all they smoke down there. 6x60.
Everything's big in Texas.
Yeah, everything's big in Texas.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see a like a Toro size, you know, 6x54, 6x56. Because I usually like Toro and above in a cigar. Now there are some, and you know, people fight with me all the time that say, "Oh, those petite Coronas, and you know, they're the best. That's the line. That's it right there." And you can't go by that with every line. Like you said, you change your blend for every single cigar, and that's the way, honestly, I think it should be done. You know, that way you can actually make each size of the cigar taste the way you want it to taste.
Right. I mean, and especially for growing companies, that really helps, you know, because you don't have to have you know, a million cigars in your line to have variety, you know. So definitely for us it works. I love it, and I just try to make sure that the consumer knows that so when they're saying, oh, well, I smoked the Robusto, it tastes a little different than the Bellicoso. Well, they have to be educated with that, which is fine, and so we just make sure that everyone knows that when they smoke our cigars.
Cool. Well, tell us a little bit about in 2011 you got the best brand award.
Yeah, that was Cigar Journal magazine, which we love working with them. They're a great magazine, very international magazine. They've been making some good strides here in the U.S., and I think you'll see a lot more of them in the U.S. They gave us a Best Brand Award and at the IPCPR last year, and for us it was just kind of a verification of all the hard work that we've been doing, and it was great for us, and it gives us some notoriety, which is nice, and it's all part of that step-by-step process, and that was actually we weren't expecting that so soon, but for us it was great, and they've also highly rated our Double Corona 93, which was great as well, and I think that was part of the award as well, kind of conjoined together.
Yeah.
Our Double Corona, even I told you guys, it's it's a more mild smoke. It's got the least amount of Monte Norte in it, but it's so smooth, and there's the response I get out of the Double Corona is that people take it for a Cuban cigar. I mean, it's really, they call it Cuban-esque, and so that the response on the Double Corona, even though it's a little bit higher priced than the rest of our line, it's the Double Corona's done very well just because of that. It's really when people smoke that, they'll say, "Wow, that's really like like if I was going to smoke a Cuban cigar, something if because you obviously can't smoke Cubans here in the U.S. Although a lot of people do."
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. But the Double Corona is a good smoke, so you don't have to worry about the law or whatever.
It's a big boy.
I will say, looking at your website, I love the informative information. It's got here all the places that you can find, and it's nice. I just happened to look up New York, and I see James and Son, which, FYI, quick plug. If you're in New York, Saratoga Springs, check them out. Awesome people. But it's
a great shop. Yeah,
it's a great shop. Very informative. I gotta give you kudos for that, man, because it's really important, especially people like Mike and myself or other cigar bloggers out there, to really be able to go to a website and get the actual information, because it's so hard sometimes to find. I mean, I'm reviewing a cigar in 2 weeks, and man, I was having the roughest time to find information. The size that they said is available, this cigar doesn't measure to that size. Nothing. The ring gauge, the size, nothing. It's horrible. It's a pain in the butt. But
yeah.
I give you kudos, man, because your website's very, very informative. And then anybody you can check, go on their website and go look up your state. And I don't see a state almost that you're not in. So
yeah, we're definitely we've got good coverage, so people can find our cigars. Obviously, it's going to get better and better. So everyone that's listening, and tell your local store about our cigar, and we'll get them in your local shop as well.
Now, do you have plans? Absolutely. Are you actively seeking out new shops? I don't know if you have any sales reps or if you do everything yourself, or.
We have a lot of different reps at the moment. 5 actually independent reps that cover a lot of the U.S. So in that regard, it's been great, and definitely helps getting the cigar out there, and doing things like this and having advertisements and ratings and all that. Definitely we do a lot of sales just from that, but and then on top of that, our independent brokers throughout the U.S. have really done a great job. And they get a good response out of the cigar, and for them it's a very unique cigar. In my opinion, it's a very easy cigar to present to somebody because it's very unique. You can't really compare it to too many things. So what store doesn't want to have a great cigar that is really separated from the other cigars in the humidor, that they can somebody says, listen, I want to smoke. So what kind of cool stuff do you have? What new stuff do you have? what cigar do you have that's very unique? That's definitely our category. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. So
yeah, and your price
cool.
point is really good on them. I think the size. I mean, you have 6 different sizes right now. I think that's if you bring out the bigger size, I think they'll sell even better. Now, with that, what kind of production numbers do you look at for a year? I mean, let's put it this way: if we have 2,000 people come and watch this video afterwards, and every single one of them goes to their local shop and says, "Hey, give these guys a call." Are you ramped up that much, or are you still?
Yeah, that's one of the things we've been prepared for. We've been maintaining a constant production of over 500,000 cigars per year since 2007.
That's a lot.
And now it's even greater with the new facility and everything. So we're definitely prepared for the future. I mean, we're not certainly not if like I said, we want to grow step by step, but if something happened to where it was just a crazy boom, we'd be prepared for that if that happened. So, and that's really I gotta hand it to my partner. His family is involved in the steel business down in Brazil, and they're also involved in wine. They have a winery in Italy. So especially on the wine aspect part of it, they knew, there's a lot of similar comparisons to the wine industry and the cigar industry, especially on the length of time that it takes to prepare and all the aspects to that. So they definitely utilized that when they were taking into account building the Monte Pascoal line.
Nice. Wow. That's a lot of cigars.
Yeah, it's a lot of cigars. So we're definitely, it's like I said, we're really prepared for long term, and so no problems there.
That's good to know. I mean, there's some smaller companies that just don't have that production available, and then they run out of cigars all the time because they can't, get them to the shops. So that it's nice to know that you actually have that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's goes hand in hand with we don't want to let our consumers down. We don't want to let our retailers down.
Right.
If somebody calls us up and we say, I'm sorry, we don't have it, that's not good for your reputation. That's not good for your image. So we definitely don't want that to ever happen.
Right. Well, IPCPR is right around the corner coming up. Is there anything that you can go into that may be new that you can talk about maybe now, or is it still kind of hush hush?
Well, yeah, no, we, unfortunately, as far as, like I said, our new farm was developed. We started growing right away, but that was still 2.5 years ago, and the tobacco is just not ready. I mean, we're so close, but for us to rush a new product to the IPCPR, we don't want to do that to the customers and have tobacco that's too young for our cigars. So we're just being patient, and when the tobacco's ready, the cigars are ready.
Right.
So unfortunately on that end of it, we really don't have anything new coming out, but we're having a good time at the IPCPR. We're having a little cigar party, and we've got a Brazilian beach bikini company that's we've partnered with in the past, and they're going to do a fashion show. And
show them that card, Wes. Show them that card.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Here's a teaser for you, all you guys out there. Here's a teaser for you.
If you can, can you guys see it?
Yeah, up a little bit. There you go. Yeah. All right, folks. There's your teaser.
Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely having a lot of fun like that, and it's going to be a good show, and good things to come. So
good.
Now, when do you see you said later this year you're thinking you'll have something new?
Yeah, we're looking at by the end of the year to have our new line out, and so you can never tell exactly with cigars because it's a natural product, and if the cigars aren't ready, they're not ready. So But I can guesstimate that by the end of the year, something new will be in the U.S. market.
Nice. Now, can you say anything like price range?
Well,
is it going to be about the same price range as yours now, or?
We're looking at it's going to be it's actually going to be even a little bit. We're stepping up a little bit even with this new cigar. It's going to be the I mean, right now our attention to detail and our quality control is fantastic. For the new line, it's even going to be stepped up a notch from that. So it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive, but not much. It's still going to be very reasonable. Now we're talking, probably another $1 or $2 more per stick. But again, I don't want to speculate on that just yet. But that's kind of the direction we're headed.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on limited edition cigars, Wes?
Fad?
Yeah. Is it just a fad, or is it a gimmick, or do you think there's real boast behind it, or?
I think limited cigars are good. I mean, they, in a certain, if you're putting out a limited cigar every month, then what's limited about it,
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're putting out a limited cigar once a year, then I think that's great, and it gives, just gives an extra push for your company, for your brand, but yeah, definitely, I think, if you're putting out, I see people putting out limited editions left and right, and you get diluted if you do that.
Right. Is this something you'd ever consider?
Yeah, well, actually, we had a limited edition in Brazil last year, and that went very well. It was I think it was close to 500 boxes, very small limited edition, and they sold out within a month.
Wow.
Actually, we had one of the boxes on display at last year's IPCPR. It was a beautiful red box, almost like a Ferrari color.
Yeah.
It was a really great cigar. So we'll definitely consider doing something very very soon. And like I said, with having the ability to come out with new stuff a lot faster now, we'll definitely have a limited edition. But I definitely don't want it to be something that people are expect a limited edition every month.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%.
Now, what is your best selling cigar? What size is your best seller right now?
People love the Bellicoso. That's the cigar. And especially I think it's more because in the United States market, a lot of guys love the. A lot of guys are more like a little bit more strength to their cigars. So
and we have bigger fingers too. The guys with the normal size hands. The little hand guys have problems.
Right. So our Bellicoso is 5.5 by 52, and it's a great cigar. It's the most complex cigar in our line. It goes through a lot of different changes. So yeah, definitely the Bellicoso, and then followed by that are obviously Robusto, and the Double Corona, which got the 93 rating, is very popular too. So I'd say it's probably in that order.
Cool. Well, let me ask you this, Wes. We try to ask manufacturers this: if and when, if the Cuban embargo ever lifts, what do you see could possibly happen in cigar industry in general? And also, is it something that you would consider using Cuban seed, Cuban tobacco in Monte Pascoal? Sure.
I mean, I in my opinion, if that ever does happen, I think it will happen. Maybe sooner than later. But I think it's good for the cigar industry. If you look at the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. I'll give you a couple of examples. Now, having Cuban cigars here in the U.S., what will that do? That's going to give more attention to cigars. You can imagine the press that's going to come out of that the Cuban cigars are now available in the U.S., and you can imagine that the attention that the cigar industry as a whole is going to get out of that. So that's definitely a positive. And for us, and I don't think other companies, unless unless your price range is $20 and above for Robusto, when the Cuban cigars come here to the U.S., I don't I don't expect them to be, you know, $5 cigars.
Right.
They're going to be in the $20 to $30 range. So like for me, I think it's only helping us. It's only helping the cigar industry. You know, we're not in that $20 to $30 per cigar range, so that's not really our market right now. So I definitely think it's a good thing. You know, I mean, it'll definitely create a huge stir.
Yeah, I just worry about their quality control. It seems to have diminished lately. Not that I smoke Cuban cigars in America. I'm just saying their quality control has diminished quite a bit from what I see.
Yeah, that's the negative part that you have to look at. Like, there's positives and negatives.
Right.
Do they have the ability to up their production? I think they're abusing their production right now. They're abusing their farms because the demand, even without having the U.S. involved, the demand for Cuban cigars is so big,
right,
that they really don't have the ability to create as many cigars as the demand is asking for. So then what do you have? You have guys, you know that are growing the tobacco, saying, okay, you know, we have to produce this many cigars. The demand's so high, and maybe they're not waiting as long as they should to rotate the crops and to do all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that affects the quality, and I think that's, you know, I get a lot of feedback that people say that that's a problem already. You know.
Oh, it is. I mean, it definitely is, and I agree with you. I think things are being too much rushed, and I think when the embargo is lifted, there's going to be that demand where everybody's going to be in America here is going to be like, holy crap, you know, everybody looks at Cuban cigars as the creme del creme, and they're going to be like, well, I want to get my hands on it. And you know, the fact of the matter is, in my own opinion, I think things coming out of Nicaragua and Dominica and all these other countries are just as good, if not better. I would say better quality right now, in my opinion. I think the quality is better than what's coming out of Cuba.
Yeah, Mike, I agree with you, and I think on a business side, okay, what if the Cuban cigar companies, if they really wanted to do things right and get back to that superior quality, which I mean, I'd say a lot of them are great quality, but like you said, you see some aspects of that, you know, trying to rush everything.
Yep.
They're going to say, look, okay, we have this demand for our product, okay, and the demand is up off the charts. So we have to have this price, and we're not going to abuse our soil. You know, we're going to, you know, so I'm not going to push that cigar out for $20. I'm going to do it right, and that cigar is going to have to be $35. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that if they want to, like, you know, if they want to do it right, that's what they're going to have to do. And there's definitely a lot of competition. I mean, Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican Republic, the cigars are fantastic.
Brazil,
that's right.
But
so yeah, I agree with you. I just it's going to be interesting. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen.
And
I mean, I think
the other aspect that we haven't really talked about, and I read something I think this week about it, is how much trouble Cuba is really in. I mean, Cuba is in huge financial trouble. I mean, they're going to. They went to China. They went to Russia. They went back to Russia. They went to Vietnam, I think. They're going all over the place saying, "Please help us." And you know, the United States itself, just from their tobacco industry, it would probably make a huge contribution to their economy if they would. You know, I don't know who has to bow to who or figure what out, but if the United States and Cuba could work things out, I think it would be better for Cuba in the long run.
Yeah, but I see the problem with that's going to be, the problem is the government now already wants to regulate tobacco as it is. So how much do you think they're going to want to go in and regulate Cuban tobacco as it is? And Cubans are going to sit there and they're going to say, well, listen, wait a minute, we need help, but you're not going to tell us X, Y, and Z. Come on. You know, that's where it's like you said, who's gonna give in? Someone's got to give, and someone's got to take a little less. That's what I see, anyways, with all the regulations with the FDA as it is now, and the way the government wants to regulate tobacco.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the government wanted to go as far. I mean, in that proposal, they wanted to go. I mean, the highest reach of that was just absolutely ridiculous. That they weren't going to allow logos on the boxes. That it was going to be block letters, and they don't want people to be able to go in a humidor and actually look around. That you have to. It's like a menu thing where you have to ask for the cigar and the guy has to go get it. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous.
What's that sound to you like? That doesn't sound like communism. What's that sound like to you?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You don't have medical. You got to buy medical now. You have to have it. You have to do that.
Okay.
What's that sound like to people? I mean, it's ridiculous, but we'll have to. I guess we'll have to see what happens, and it's just ridiculous. But
yeah, our cigar companies and cigar smokers, it's really unfortunate. And a perfect example is in my home state of Florida. They have a whole campaign, Tobacco-Free Florida, and it's all over the television. Like it's the commercials, Tobacco-Free Florida this, Tobacco-Free Florida that. Now, are they really talking about cigars? Are they trying to say cigar-free Florida?
no.
No, they're talking about cigarettes.
That's right.
And they're talking about kids smoking cigarettes. And the last time I checked, I've never seen two teenage guys going behind the schoolyard smoking a cigar. It's just you don't see that. So but unfortunately we get lumped into that the whole tobacco category. Yep. And we've done a fairly good job of separating ourselves from the other tobacco, but even more needs to be done. So, because it's an adult right. product. It's and it's a choice, and it's a choice that Americans definitely need to have. Yep. And you want to be able to smoke a good cigar. What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? So,
I agree with you 100%. I always find it funny. The last time I went to my doctor for a physical, and he always says, "Do you smoke?" I said, "Well, I smoke cigars." He goes, "No. Do you smoke cigarettes?" I said, "Well, you asked me." He goes, "You know what? Cigars are." This is what the doctor said. He said, we look at it differently." Yep. I'm like, "So basically, you're telling me it's okay?" He's like, "Well, I'm not telling you it's okay. It's not." He said, "But it's not cigarettes." And it's like you said, they really need to define that and not lump in cigars with a piece of paper that has arsenic in it, that has chemicals in it, it's not the same thing. You take a cigar, you take a cigarette, it's not the same thing.
Right. I mean, if you're driving down the road, you're smoking a cigar, and you throw your cigar out the window without the band, are you littering? Or are you just throwing leaves on the ground?
Exactly.
If you throw out your cigarette, you're definitely littering. You're throwing, foam and all that kind of
stuff. Whatever they put in.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Until it's separated, it's always gonna be looked at that. And every cigar smoker, on people's eyes who are against this, they look at you that way because they don't look at it as a cigarette or a cigar. They look at it as tobacco. And you're talking about a smoke-free Florida. Come to New York, man. You want to talk about regulations. You want to talk about looks and talk about people. I mean, I smoke in my truck on my way home, and you'd be surprised on the highway the looks I get, or people look. And I'm like, really, I'm not hurting you. I'm not hurting anybody. But it's ridiculous. And again, it falls back to, we can sit here all day and go over this. It falls back to too much government. It's for the people, by the people, and it's got to get back to that. Until all these people sitting up in there realize it, nothing's going to change, And we could bitch and moan all day long, but it's not. It's a fact. Yeah. But, well, listen, Wes, we're getting to the end of the show here, and we always like to end it on a kind of funny note. So, hey, Mike, why don't you give them the old chat room? We have a chat room question. The people in the chat room were nice enough. They came up with this quirky question, and we think it's kind of funny. It ends on a funny note. So, Mike, why don't you give them the death question?
Well, first thing, LOD, yes, there is a guy wearing shorts in the background of Mike. Look at that.
Show him the legs, Daryl. Keep it R. Keep it R, though. We don't want to go to X. We have a guest in the studio today, LOD.
Oh, and that's Mike's friend Daryl. Lives right close by him.
It's my puppet. If I put my hand up his ass, he talks. You want to seize my puppet?
No, I really don't want to see that.
Can you do this?
Oh, man. All right. Well, the question everybody wants us to ask in the chat room, it's the death question. You're on your deathbed, and you have time. You can smoke one cigar. What would it be?
Well, that's an easy question. It's going to be the Monte Pascoal Bellicose. Actually, you know what? I changed my answer.
You're dead.
I would smoke the Monte Pascoal double Corona. That way I have at least an hour and a half to 2 hours to enjoy myself before I broke it out.
That's what everybody says. Everybody says, what's going to be the biggest, slowest cigar I could smoke?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
So, yeah, definitely. Give me some more time to just think about what happened.
There you go. Well, Wes, is there anything we didn't touch base on, buddy, that you would like to touch base before we let you go? And
I think we covered quite a bit. I mean, I just like to reiterate. I'm sorry to everybody out there that go try our cigars. They're definitely something unique. You're gonna enjoy it, and we got a lot of good things coming up too, especially with our brand. And yeah, you're definitely we'd like our customers and our retailers to grow with us as we grow. So yeah, I just wanted to thank all the viewers out there. Thank you guys for putting this together. It's a great show. And
absolutely.
Thanks.
Oh,
no,
yes.
We thank you. We appreciate you taking the time out. And Mike smoked your cigars. I've tried them before, and I think you should go out and try them. I think they're even me being a full body guy. I enjoyed it. I really did. It was really good and flavorful. And we wish you nothing but success, Wes. And anything we can do here to help, we're always here. It's great to have manufacturers on it. Our viewers really like to get to hear information that they normally don't get to hear, and we appreciate it. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Mike and Mike.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All righty, I am here by myself now. The queue is still up pretty high, so I'm hoping the video is not real jerky for everybody live. I'm hoping it settles itself down. I don't know why it stayed up that high, but it was a good show with Wes. And like Mike said, it's nice to get the opinion or the knowledge direct from the manufacturer. And Mike's back now, so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Yeah, no, it was good. It's definitely good. It's nice to get different people on the show. So there's, we all as cigar smokers try to try different stuff, and some people we don't know about other manufacturers that are out there, and I think it's a good idea to get these people on the show and to try them, because I think he's got a unique product. I like the way he changes. They got the same cigar, different sizes, but you don't get the same smoking profile, the flavor profile from each one. It's different. It's unique. And to me, I find that very, very pleasurable. I like to see that. I want to quickly shout out and say thanks to everybody in the chat room. And also, if Foodie and LOD, would you email me your address? I just want to send you, it's nothing much, just a little token of appreciation. You guys are always here supporting us, and you always seem to be one of the first two guys in the chat room. So it's nothing drastic, but I just want to send you a thank you from Stogie 401 for continuing to support us, because we here really appreciate our fans. And without you guys, as we say every week, the show just doesn't matter. So I just want to give that shout out. So thanks to everybody in the chat room. I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy your Saturday. And the next show, Mike, actually, I won't be here.
Oh,
I won't be here for the next show to be Cremo Cigars. Matt and Mike are going to do the show. I am getting surgery, so I'm going to be out for a little while. And so make sure you tune in, check out Matt and Mike. And you got the date of that show, Mike?
It's going to be July 28th. It's Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time again. And that's a day after Mike gets his penis enlargement surgery, I believe.
No, I lose my penis and I
is
get
that
my
what
vagina.
it is? Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
what's happening. Yeah, that's actually what's happening. But anyways, make sure you tune in and support Matt and Mike. I'm sure they will do a wonderful job, as they always do when I have to be gone. And then
and we'll have plenty of time to talk about Mike, because he won't be able to watch, so we'll be good to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it looks like the video is freezing, at least on my end. So anyways, that's all I got. Appreciate everybody again, and I'll see you soon, I guess. So that's it,
we'll
brother.
See you in, well, I will. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
There you go. Bye-bye.